All right, so you've created a document that you want to be able to give to every one of your students and have them complete separately, individually, right? And then return that document back to you. It's the classic worksheet, right? It's the idea of being able to have students use a template to be able to drive a response, to be able to then return to you for you to be able to look at, consider, evaluate, maybe grade, and provide feedback on. Well, the good news is that there's a really easy way of doing this inside of Schoology using the Google Drive Assignments app. And what we're going to do today is we're going to look at how that assignment app works, how it functions, and how you can use it in your classroom situation. All right, so here we are inside of a course in Schoology. And in order to create a Google Drive assignment, we're going to go ahead and click on Add Materials. We're going to choose Add Assignment. And then we're going to go ahead and fill in the normal natural information. So the name of the assignment, I'm going to call this Socratic Circle Debrief. And I'm going to give it a quick description. So please complete by Friday. And obviously there should be better directions here. Then I'm going to go ahead and click on Google Drive Assignments. I'm going to find the file. Now, if it was in a folder, I'd open that folder up, but here it is, the Socratic Circle Debrief file that I've already created in Google Drive. I'm going to give it a due date. I'm going to say by Friday, and I'm going to give it a point value of 10 points, a category of assignments, a period. I'm going to leave this as ongoing, although you'll probably have to choose the assignment period or the grading period that's appropriate to you. Then I'm going to click Create. All right, now I'm all about understanding exactly what has transpired here. In Schoology, we've created the assignment. However, each student does not already or automatically have a copy of that file all to themselves yet. What has to happen is that each student has to go into the course and actually has to click on the assignment and open up the My Document version of that file. Until they do that, you as a teacher do not see a version for that student, and neither does that student because that file doesn't even exist. It happens behind the scenes at the moment that the student clicks on the My Document inside of that assignment. It's a little bit of a strange logic to follow, but really it's kind of like a real-time creation process. It only creates the document when it's actually needed, and it's only needed when the student actually goes and clicks on it. Once it's created, but it's not created until, well, it's not created, or until it's not created until a student clicks on it. So here I am inside of Schoology and in my teacher account, right? And if I click on this Socratic Circle Debrief assignment, I can see that there are 3 tabs. The assignment, which has my directions and the due date. I see the In Progress tab, and this gives me the listing of all of the students that are in my course and all of the ones that are specifically in progress or they have not submitted the assignment yet. So if I click on Submissions, I can see no one has submitted this assignment. But if I click on In Progress, all of my other students should be there. In this case, there's only 1 student in this course, so that's everybody that's listed. Now, for robot number 1, for student robot number 1, we can see that it looks like the student has not opened this assignment yet. Sometimes you're going to see this message, right, that lets you know that the student hasn't opened it. Other times you may see an access denied message. In both cases, it just means that the student hasn't opened it. Now, let's take a look and see what happens from the student perspective. So I'm just going to flip over here. I've got it already opened up in Firefox. And I have, here I'm in as student robot number 1. And now if I refresh this page, I can see that assignment that we just created. I'm going to click on it as the student now. And for the student has 2 different tabs. They have the assignment tab and then they have the My Document tab. When the student clicks on the My Document tab, they're going to be prompted, if they've never done this before, right? If they have not in any single class, anywhere across time, they have never opened up, never connected Google Drive to Schoology, then they're going to be prompted to do so. So I'm going to have to do that now. So I'm going to click connect. I'm going to go ahead and type in my email account. Now it's asking me to allow, and again, this is only the first time that your students ever log in that this will ever show them this. I'm going to click allow. And now at the bottom here, you'll see that little LTI submissions. I'm just going to refresh this page. Actually, I didn't even have to refresh the page. I just gave it a few seconds. And now it has connected the accounts, and now it has created the file for the student. So here I have, it says student robot 1 Socratic circle debrief, and then it has this number, these numbers on the back end of it. So it always appends the student's name to the beginning of the file name. Then it gives the actual file name itself. So here's the file, here's where the student would be able to type. And if the student starts to type, so I'm just gonna change this to be in red for the moment, just so that way you can see it a little bit more clearly. Hello, my thoughts on this assignment are, right, whatever the student would be typing. Now, as the student is typing, as the student is in progress on this assignment, we're going to flip back over to the teacher view, refresh our page here, and now the teacher can see as the student is typing that what exactly it is that the student is working on. So anything at all that they've submitted, anything that they've typed into the document, the teacher is now able to see. Now, the next step for the student is to submit the document. So I'm back in now as the student, and when the student is finished, they're going to go ahead and click on the Submit Assignment button. So we click Submit Assignment, and yes, submit, and done. Okay, so now it's been submitted. Now what you're going to note here is that as the student, I can no longer edit this file. Anything that I type in now gets added as a comment on the file. And or as a suggestion on the file. And so there's nothing that the student can do after they've submitted it to, make edits, unless the teacher does something on their end. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So flipping back over now as the teacher, if I refresh my screen again, you'll notice now I do not see that student's work in the In Progress tab because they're no longer in progress, they have submitted it. So here I can see that it has been submitted. It's actually late because I had set the due date for a week or so ago. And now now it's waiting for me to give a grade or to provide feedback, to do whatever I want. So as the teacher, I can type anything that I want in here. I can, I can write, well done. I can insert comments, change this, please. I can make comments, I can change whatever it is I want in this document. And then at the end, I give a grade. So I click here to give a grade. I'm going to give this a 2 out of 10. And then, note you did not follow the directions. You can put whatever you want here, share this gradebook to the comment with the student, and I click save. And now the student, back in the student view here, the student is able to, when they click on my document, they're able to see the grade and they can see any comments as well. And you'll notice now, again, the student is seeing that the access to this document has expired. And that's basically because they don't have editing rights to this document. They can only comment on it. The reason why students aren't able to edit the document after they've submitted it is because the document is always owned by the teacher. It's just that in the background, the shared permissions for that file are adapted and changed by Schoology depending on when the student submits the document or is in progress with the document. So If the student has initially clicked on My Document, then they have editing access to it. Once they've submitted it, they lose editing access and they gain only commenting access. Once the teacher clicks the Unsubmit button, however, that puts the editing rights back to the student to be able to edit and change. Now, none of this changes the ownership permissions of the document. The file is always owned by the teacher, no matter what. It's always owned by the teacher if it's created in this manner. Now, students can make a copy of files and they can do other things with them, but those aren't the original files. What we've just gone through is the original, and that's always retained by the teacher. So I want to show you where that file exists in the teacher's Google Drive because that's where it is. So inside of Google Drive, what you're going to do is you're going to look for a folder called Schoology Google Drive Assignments. And I'm going to toggle my view here so that way I can see it as a full list. So here it is, Schoology Google Drive Assignments. Now when I open that up, I'll see a name of a course. In this particular one, it's the Until Robots Replace Us course. Then I'm going to find all of the assignments listed by name. And so here's the Socratic Circle debrief. And then here is my student robot number 1. And I own this file. This file belongs to me. So if for some reason a student ever, thought they deleted it, or maybe they, maybe they just can't find it, or maybe they had opened it up with a different account and now it needs to be shared back with them, the teacher always has those editing rights to be able to reshare it back. And so as a teacher, you can always just right click on the file name and then choose share and then share it with whomever it is that you want. Maybe you need to share a particular file with a different teacher or with a parent or someone else. You can do that however you see fit. But that's how you do it. And again, the teacher always retains the editing rights to that file. Schoology Google Drive assignments are not limited to just Google Docs. You can also use spreadsheets and slideshows as well. So I'm going to show you very quickly what that looks like from a slideshow, but I'm just going to breeze right through it because it's the exact same process. So I'm going to click on Add Materials, Add Assignment. I'm going to call this Life Presentation, and directions go here. I'm going to click on Google Drive Assignments. I'm going to choose this Life, Universe, and Everything presentation. I'm going to click Attach. I'm going to give it a due date, and then I'm going to give it a category and Create. It's there. And now if I switch over to my student perspective, I'm going to go back to the course. I'm going to see that there's this life presentation. I click on My Document, and it will take about 10 to 20 seconds or so, but then it'll create the file. And once it's created, it again has the student's name appended to the beginning. And now the student is ready to start working on the presentation. And they, again, each student will have their own presentation. They will each be able to work on it. They will each be able to, fill it in however they want and ultimately submit the assignment. And from the teacher's perspective, again, it is pretty straightforward. When the teacher clicks on Live Presentation, the teacher sees In Progress or Submissions. They can then view any of the submissions and they can make changes, edits, copy. They can do whatever they want. You can do whatever you want, and then ultimately give a grade or unsubmit back to the student if that's what you would choose to do. Creating assignments using Schoology and Google Drive is a pretty slick process once you get the hang of it. Give it a try, see how it works for you. As always, please feel free to leave comments down below if you have any questions or thoughts. If you have any ideas for future topics or things that you'd like to see me make content videos of, please let me know. As always, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Until then.